The meaningful vote by UK members of Parliament is almost upon us. Tuesday, 7 p.m. Ahead of that, IGTV caught up with Mathew Lynn, columnist for the Daily Telegraph, and the global head of investment strategy at Aberdeen Standard, Andrew Milligan. And we asked them what they thought would come out of the event.
It's relatively likely that the deal, possibly with some modifications, Theresa May's deal, will be passed. It might not be passed, possibly not even this month. It might be sometime in February. But I'd probably put about 70% chances when it comes to the crunch that the numbers will be there and it'll be voted through, and probably about 30% chance on leaving with no deal. And I don't think there's much possibility of a second referendum or not leaving. I mean, one of the interesting things about it is that all the kind of Gina Miller stuff just after the referendum meant that Parliament enshrined leaving in law. If they hadn't done that, you'd have quite a bit more flexibility, and actually Theresa May might have the power to stop it or to postpone Brexit. But Parliament's, voted in favour of leaving, and if Parliament could revoke that, but Parliament can't agree on anything to do with Brexit, and I can't see it agreeing to revoke it. So I think the mainstream position has to be that we'll leave with the deal or else with no deal. Of course, we leave with the deal, just on UK assets. It's very good for UK assets. I think the market's probably underpricing the possibility. The market sees a lot of chaos, but on the day it'll probably work itself out.
I think the important issue to remember about Brexit is that it is affecting a relatively small country in a relatively unimportant continent. The UK is only 2% of global GDP. There are a number of issues that investors are facing in the world at present, but much the most important is what happens in the United States, what happens in China, which collectively are 40 to 50% of global GDP, or certainly marginal growth in global GDP is substantially driven by those countries.
The currency markets and the stock markets, I mean, in line with kind of general view within the political establishment, they massively overvalue the benefits of EU membership. And not just the benefits, but just the impact of it. I mean, I think they kind of have this position that the EU is this incredibly powerful thing which facilitates all kinds of stuff, and it's just actually not really true. It's a few thousand civil servants with a fairly small budget in Brussels. Most of the European economy, and certainly most of the British economy, just carries on regardless of what this stuff does. And most of the things that are kind of flagged up as problems are relatively simple problems. The kind of things that most companies can fix with just a little bit of application and a small amounts of money and a bit more software. So I think they massively, I think we'll probably end up doing some kind of deal with the EU. But even if we, the phrase crash out, it's just overestimate. It's not a crash. It's just kind of leaving a trading bloc for a slightly different set of trading arrangements.
Brexit is, of course, not just a local issue. If there is a disorderly outcome, whatever those words mean, of course it's bad for the UK, but it's also bad for continental Europe. And I think the backdrop here is significant. There are very clear signs that we're close to seeing a technical recession, i.e. 2 successive quarters of negative growth in Italy and Germany, and if not, they'll just be escaping it by the skin of their teeth. The European economy is not in a great state, partly because of what's happening in China and global trade, and partly what's some local issues like the diesel emissions problems. So a disorderly Brexit with the supply chain disruption that this would cause across Europe, backing up of lorries in Dover is the equivalent of backing up of lorries in Calais, would clearly be a negative shock to the European economy at a time when the ECB is not in a great place to provide some stimulus. Fiscal stimulus looks to be coming through in the UK and Europe, but monetary hands look to be tied at present.
Join us on Wednesday for a Brexit special at 1 p.m. UK time, analysing what it means for the UK and European stock, bond and currency markets. With us around the table will be global markets economist Peter Dixon from Commerzbank and Alexandra Kellett, political analyst at Control Risks. For more videos, join us on Twitter at IGTV and subscribe to IG's UK YouTube channel.